Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Connor.
And GW has announced the best news yet of 2022. The Tyranids are coming next. Is next the next Xenos Codex, or is next the next Codex in general? We'll talk about that. But today we're just going to do a whole lot of wish listing, rumors, speculation, everything. I've been holding out to do this. Some people have asked me what I wanted in the new Codex, and I've been holding out making a new video.
And it worked out perfectly.
Worked out perfectly. I wanted to see what the actual, wait for GW's official word before we start getting crazy here. So this is a fun video, and we'll dive right into it. But before we do consider liking and subscribing to stay updated on all of our content here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios, especially if you're new to Tyranids and are ready to see some of the best analysis here on YouTube for the Tyranids. We will be covering it heavily in depth.
It is a fantastic time to be a new Tyranid player.
Absolutely. So we'll go over all of those things. And if you do want to support the growth of our channel, do consider becoming a member. Click the little join button down below. All of the money from that goes directly back into getting us better equipment and anything we need to help grow the channel into something really big here. So now, with all that out of the way, let's dive into these juicy rumors and goodness of the Tyranids.
So let's just go over what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to discuss when we think this book is coming.
Yep. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, some new models. We know a little bit about new stuff. We're going to talk about rumors because it's fun. Wish listing, data sheets that we would like to see changed. We've talked about all kinds of little things on the channel, but this will be a full Tyranid discussion of it.
Yes.
Other changes, tweaks, balancing stuff, and a conclusion.
A simple conclusion. All right. So first, when Tyranids are coming, so GW put out an image, and you guys will see it on your screen, that says the Tyranids or the Gribblies are coming very soon after the Eldar. And they specifically say it's a great time to be a Xenos fan. So
that was GW that released that image.
It was GW that released that thing. It was the end of one of their Eldar preview articles in Warhammer Community. And I can link it if you guys want the true link in the description.
It's a cool picture.
It is a cool picture.
It's really cool.
Classic battle from Kraken versus Iandin, I believe it is.
The red one.
Iandin is the yellow and blue Eldar.
So not the red one. Got
the red one are the Tyranids.
No, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, so they say it's the next Codex, but they also aren't clear if it's the next Xenos Codex or the next Codex. So the book, at the time you guys are seeing this, the new Eldritch Omen box is coming out, and that is Chaos and Eldar. So everyone assumed Chaos is coming out next because Chaos are getting new models in that box. But they have not said anything about a Chaos Codex. In fact, they have said a Tyranid Codex.
Right.
So it's interesting. I honestly thought it was going to be Chaos before Tyranids because Chaos need the love more than Tyranids do.
Yes, they do.
But maybe they're just setting up for get the Xenos out of the way because Tyranids will be the last Xenos army. And then it is, well, then
is
they
that
have...
it?
Yeah.
That's all Xenos?
Well, because Harlequins and Eldar are all tied into this book.
Yeah.
Yep. So then it's just Astra Militarum in all the Chaos, besides Thousand Suns and Death Guard. But maybe they're just doing that. They're going to leave it open, and they're just going to have Chaos be the rest of the 2022 release schedule for 40K.
Get ready for Chaos in those tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. If that is the case, that means we can expect a Tyranid Codex probably at the earliest, the end of February, but most likely beginning middle of March is when we will see that Codex coming out.
Okay.
So, fingers crossed. We'll try and cover a few things to wrap up our 8th edition Codex here on the channel before we dive into 9th edition. But
what a Codex it's been.
It's been a long ride with it.
Yeah.
So now we'll go over what we know is coming in this Codex. There is at least one new model that GW has teased.
That's all they showed?
Yep, it's 3 images. They're 3 separate images, and I have spliced them together essentially to kind of make it look like this is what the shape of it would be.
Seems right.
Some winged beast. There is a rumor engine they posted months ago, and looking at it carefully, the claw on the rumor engine does look like the claw or tentacle thing in this picture as well.
Tail?
I don't know if it's a tail or if they got like Venomthrope-like tentacles or just a whole bunch of claws.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't know.
It'll be interesting, but it looks like it belongs on that model. We don't know what this model is, but it looks like it's probably a decent size, probably
At least medium?
medium warrior to bigger size. I wouldn't say it's Titanic or anything.
No, it's not. I don't think it looks detailed enough.
And I don't know what it could be. This is where my fingers are crossed. So there's three things going here. One, they're bringing back the Parasite of Mortrex, which if you guys don't know is an old 5th edition model. He was essentially a gargoyle hybrid sized warrior. Not a warrior, but like a Shrike, kind of like a Shrike, but in size and everything. But he basically would go after characters. He would infect your models or your enemies' models.
Yeah.
And when they died, rippers would explode out of them, and you would spawn rippers as he killed things. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a really unique Tyranid model.
I don't want this model to be the Parasite. I don't want the huge thing we've been revealing just to be the Parasite of Mortrex.
See, yeah, I get why. It would be great for narrative stuff,
yeah.
which isn't our primary focus on the channel, so I get why. But
So it could be some new model. They have, when they showed off a video at the beginning of the year saying, oh, we've got new models, and where they teased this one and teased some other characters, all of those models were character models.
oh yeah.
So it leads me to believe
true.
that it would be a character, not a unit.
Yeah.
But could be wrong, just speculating. It also could be Shrikes. That would be cool. I'd love to see it, but I don't know.
Based on what you just said, though, it would make less sense if it was Shrikes.
Yeah.
Character seems more likely.
I don't know what it'd be.
I don't know.
Hope it's something new and cool and not just a very meh character.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what it would be, honestly.
All right, so now we're gonna go into a little bit of rumor stuff. All of this comes from an old leak that was 2, 3, 4 years ago.
It's that old?
It was an old leak, and what happened with this leak is that half of it came true, and half of it, at the time, never happened. However, some of those things that never happened were things like Castellan Crow and New Orc Defcoptas. Both of those,
with this much time down the road,
in recent 9th edition, have come out. So, and that was confirmed when the guy by some people who worked on Castellan Crow, said that, yeah, that model had been in the works for 3 years before they actually released it.
Wow.
So, with that, again, take this with a grain of salt, like all rumors. GW hasn't announced anything anytime recently that would lead us to believe this, but this is what that rumor said. A new multi-part plastic kit for Biovores, Pyrovores, and a new variant, which was like a psychic-related variant.
Cool.
So I'm thinking, like mini Maliceptors, essentially.
Like a medium-sized psychic Maliceptor.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see how they compare to Zoanthropes, what the difference of those would be.
And if they would have a purpose.
If they would have a purpose.
We'll see.
But at least Pyrovore-Biovore combination is much needed because, while I like the Pyrovore model as it is, the Biovore is probably our worst model in the range.
The one on the right there?
Yeah, that's the Biovore.
I kind of like the ugly,
the
ugly guy.
The ugly orc head Biovore.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's way back from 4th edition, where Tyranids slightly adapted to the biomass they consumed.
Is that really? That's a thing?
That was the thing. It's not really a thing anymore, but back then that was a thing, and that's why the Biovore looks very orky.
Well, that's funny. Which, also, if you think too far about it, like, the Biovore isn't the actual thing that consumes the biomass.
Exactly, yeah. So, that's the first one. The next one was rumored that Gene Stealers are going to be getting new kits. They will be 10-man squads instead of the weird 8-man squad that they are right now.
Right.
And they will be being upgraded to 32mm bases.
So Space Marine treatment?
Yep. So, I mean, right now they're on 25s, but they don't fit on the 25s because their arms are so far
wide,
so far out. So that would be cool. Their Gene Stealer kit, I think there's nothing wrong with it, except the mold lines are a bit egregious being such an old kit.
Yeah.
Building Gene Stealers is a kind of a pain just for cleaning up mold lines. Otherwise, I like them. So I'm sure it'll be similar to, like, Necron Warriors, where it's not a big change. It's just an an improved
A cleanup?
look. A cleanup, essentially.
Yeah.
Some other things, they did mention new Termagants and Hormagaunts.
Do you think they need that?
I don't think they need it at all. Again, if it's anything, it'll be maybe just reposing the Hormagaunts so they fit on their bases. Or they stand up on their bases, and maybe for the Termagant, cleaning up mold lines and things like that.
Sure.
Again, of all of the things I could pick, that's the last one I would.
Right.
Because I think as swarm line infantry, they don't need to be crazy detailed or anything like that.
No.
And they function perfectly how they are.
Yeah.
And then the new lictors, thankfully it'd be a new lictor / Death Leaper kit. And that would be, besides the Red Terror, all of our resin gone.
Right.
So
Cool.
that's what the rumor says. How much of it will come true, I don't know. If I could only pick one thing out of these, it would be the Biovore Pyrovore kit, but we'll have to see. So now we can go over predicting what will be in the Combat Patrol box.
Sure. So these are Craig's thoughts. Let's go over option 1.
Yes.
A Hive Tyrant. Wow, that'd be
nice.
that'd be super intense. But let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12.
So let me clarify this because I didn't tell Connor this part.
Oh.
My assumption is going off of the rumor that Termagants and Hormagaunts will get a kit upgrade.
Oh.
And I'm assuming, like they did to Orcs and Netrons, they will cut the squad size down to 10 instead of 12. So that's why if it is including new kits, I say 10, old kits 12.
Gotcha. So, Hive Tyrant. Squad of Hormagaunts, 10 or 12, depending on what Craig just said. Hormagaunts, Termagants, 3 Pyrovores.
That new kit that we mentioned.
And then a Carnifex. Wow, that'd be such a weird one for like Combat Patrol box battling.
It would be.
What a unique one that would be.
My issue is I was trying to balance, what would be the line infantry versus what would be the elite stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, you look at Space Marines, they have a vehicle, a squad or two, and a character. That's it. But
same with sisters, same with...
Yeah, but if you look at Gene Stealer Cult, they got a tank, an HQ, 3/2 troop choices, and so the 2 troop choices, the 2 neophyte squads, they got an Acolyte / a Metamorph kit, and they got an Aberrant kit. All of that.
Really? Wow.
And if you add it up, it does fit. It's about 30 power level, which is above what they were going for, but it's 500 points without too many upgrades or anything.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
And if you took this option 1, which is the one I'm leaning towards, it would be almost on par power level, cost, and point-wise with what the Gene Stealer Cult one is.
I guess you're right.
You could substitute out the Pyrovore kit for maybe like Zoanthropes, or you could say Warriors.
Yeah.
My issue with the Warriors is then you no longer have a patrol detachment because you have too many troop choices.
Oh.
Which is where I was really struggling to think, what would they put in it?
Wow, weird. Okay.
So for the second one is similar. I just went with Broodlord because that's a smaller, cheaper HQ that they're always trying to sell a ton of.
Right.
The Termagants, Gene Stealers, and Zoanthropes. Again, I don't like this one as much, but it was all I could figure out how to fit into the kit.
And are they usually trying to sell like the new redone models in these?
Sometimes. They haven't done the characters individually.
Because Crow's not in the Grey Knight one.
Crow's not in the Grey Knight one.
Okay.
There hasn't been, and even the, what's the one? The Sisters, their Start Collecting box or Combat Patrol box is just their old Battle Force box from like their launch box.
Oh.
It's that exact same like set of sprues, monopose, everything just turned into that box. There hasn't been
it's confusing.
many. Necrons are the only army that got like a ton of new stuff. Like a ton of new stuff.
I mean, they had like half their stuff redone or new stuff made.
And none of that new stuff is in the Start Collecting or Combat Patrol box.
Huh. So, okay.
Maybe the only other army that's going to have a ton of redos, unless I'm totally forgetting, is Eldar, but we have not seen their Combat Patrol box.
No.
No other army has got an insane facelift.
And what are the redone units they're getting? Just Aspect Warriors?
They're getting Dark Reapers.
Banshees?
Banshees have already been redone.
That's already done.
They're getting Guardians. They're getting Shining Spears. They're getting the Avatar and Autark, and I think and the new jet bikes and new Rangers.
So they're getting a
good
full facelift.
They're getting a pretty good. It's not a full, unfortunately, for Eldar fans. You're missing out on some of your Aspect Warriors still. But I mean, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it makes it complicated to guess. Honestly,
it is tricky to think about. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
Yeah.
Again, I go with option 1, but it's tricky to figure out what they would really want to include.
Tyranids are just such a weird, unique army.
They're very
It's hard to
scale them the same way you do the others. That's why I went off of the Gene Stealer cult, because I feel like they are the closest to the Tyranids.
It's the only thing that's close to them, yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll go back and forth here on some data sheets. We think we should say this. All data sheets need some love. Yeah. Almost all of them. Maybe not the Termagants and the Hormagons, but
maybe not Swarmy.
Maybe not. Well, I'm sure something's gonna happen to him, but
he's gonna get probably some side grades, I would guess.
Yeah, I would assume some side grades. So all of our codex need some love, but we picked out a few units here that need a lot more love than others. Just
really need to
bring them up to 9th edition standards. So first one, we'll say it. We all want it. Carnifexes of all flavors. A few things I want to say would be Strength 7 base, please. I didn't put in here what Weapon Skill 3+ would be awesome. Probably will stick.
Forget that they're 4.
They'll probably stick to being only 3+ on the charge, because I get it. But I think it would be nice if they stayed as a unit instead of breaking off. They've been doing that a lot with the 9th edition codexes. All of the squadrons now, they don't break off. They stay combined. All the Orc Buggies, the Ridge Runners from the Gene Stealer call.
Oh yeah, true.
They all stay combined now.
Sure.
And I would love for them to maintain reduced damage outside of a Crusher Stampede list.
Right.
So
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be Strength 7 is what really. How could they be the same strength as? Well, yeah. We'll come back to it. But next up we have Tyrannocytes, the pod. The pod. Turn 1 deep strikes, please. Oh yeah. I totally agree with that.
We're the only other army with true drop pods.
Yeah.
We don't get the turn 1. The other thing that would be nice is if they can fix it so we can actually deploy some of our big monsters out of it. Right now, legally, rules as written, cannot fit any of the monsters on 120 millimeter base in a drop pod, because if you deploy, you can only deploy within 3 inches of the pod, and the base is bigger than 3 inches.
Oh, funny.
So you can't do that.
So in a tournament, you can't...
You can't drop a Tyrannofex or anything.
You think that's on purpose?
I have no idea. I think they just don't care, to be honest.
Well, I wonder, just a quick thought on this, though. Space Marines turn 1 drop pod is one thing, but I mean, what if you drop... I mean, that's scary. Turn 1 drop pod from Tyranids, though?
Yeah.
I mean, you could drop a High Respects in front of someone's face.
You could drop a High Respects. You could drop... I would love to drop Pyrovores on my opponent turn 1 if they were better.
Well, that'd be fun.
That'd be really fun.
I just wonder if that might be too strong.
I'd also like to see them change it so it's not one unit of Optimals. You could put multiple units. So I can put a Prime and a group of Warriors. I could put a Neurothrope and Zoanthropes in it.
So basically just make it an actual drop pod.
Make it like, yeah.
The equivalent.
Exactly.
I wonder.
Teener Warriors, again, they don't need a ton of love, but they use some specific love, and one of them being Toughness 5.
Absolutely. They're just like squishier Space Marines right now.
Right now, yeah, they
are. An extra wound, basically.
We talk about their war gear. Of course, a lot of their war gear news changes. We'll talk about that on another slide. But in terms of their raw stats, just need to be Toughness 5. They're supposed to be now on the 50 millimeter bases. So the one in between Carnifex and Terminator size.
Oh.
They're slowly getting them moved over to 50 millimeter. So I think if you're on that big of a base, you should be T5.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense too. They're supposed to be like the somewhat core.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they are. No, Tyranids don't have core, the core keyword.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, yeah.
I'm jumping ahead. Next up, we're thinking the Hive Crone. God, it's been 5 years since I've seen a Hive Crone.
I had one.
When did you sell it?
I sold it I don't know, 3 years ago because it was just so bad and I needed the money for different models.
For stuff that was good.
Someone was willing to pay big money for it, so I sold it.
Wow, I get it. It's that's supposed to be the vehicle hunter.
It's like the plane hunter or the vehicle hunter. Yeah.
Well, that got released in 6th edition when it was Flyer City, right?
Mm-hmm. So it had a point where it was good.
It was good then, but yeah.
It's
a little
bad.
revamp.
Just bad.
Maybe
Yeah.
make it a vehicle killer or something.
Something like that. Make its missiles a little bit more reliable. Its flamer is just a heavy flamer. Make that something scarier.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Turvagon is another one. I'd love to just see this be more viable. I would love for it to bring back some of its old rules from 5th edition, where if the Turvagon had toxin sacs and adrenal glands, the Gaunts within like 6 inches of it could benefit from having toxin sacs and adrenal glands.
That's really cool.
I would love to see that rule brought back. I don't know why they got rid of it.
I wonder, I mean, that probably by itself wouldn't make Turvagons viable, but there's probably some other stuff you could throw in
There's some other stuff you could. That alone wouldn't change it. Give them a 5-up Invone base, because they're the only Synapse creature without an Invone save. Well,
and they have psychic
Synapse.
powers.
Yeah, they do.
So that would make sense too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Hive Tyrants, Swarmlord, Maliceptor, Zoanthropes, all those Psychers.
Oh, is that the only one that's a Psyker that doesn't have an Invone? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think it is.
So give it at least a 5-up Invone.
Yeah.
Just you don't have to pay for it.
It's already T8, so it maybe doesn't need a 4-up, but yeah.
That'd be cool, but no.
Very powerful. Then we have one more that we think really needs one is Hive Tyrant.
I think it does.
Really?
I think
20 points is he like with a
bare bones or
let's go bare bones.
Bare bones they start out at 170.
Normal kit up is
220, 230.
So about the same as a Grandmaster Dread Knight.
Yeah.
And the difference in their performance is
drastic.
Significant
right
now.
They just give them, I mean, if they're going to change up our army, give them the captain rerolls so they're not just, missiles on their own with some psychic powers.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I would love them to be strength 7, because right now strength 6 kind of sucks.
It's crazy that they're strength 7.
And I'd love them to have more than 4 attacks. I think that one will happen.
I think that's almost guaranteed. Yeah. I think. I mean,
but
the Space Marine characters get like 6 attacks.
Space Marine characters, some of them, if you load them outright, can have 8 attacks on the charge.
Well, and they only have 2 arms.
Exactly.
Hive Tyrants have double.
They should. So yeah, I would love to see Hive Tyrants get a boost. I wholly expect the rule to come in 1 Hive Tyrant per army.
Absolutely.
Just like the Dread Knights, just
Not
like
even
the
a question.
Lords.
Yeah.
I wholly expect 1 Hive Tyrant per army.
But I bet Swarmy is not a Hive. Oh.
I think he's going to be Supreme Commander.
Yeah, like Drago.
Yeah.
How I can take a Grandmaster and Drago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that'll be
I think so too.
what happens to Swarmlord.
That sounds right.
But just 1 Hive Tyrant on its own is not great. You'll see in a battle report that I do maybe soon.
The one you just filmed? Or?
Yeah, the one I just filmed with Sam. I brought 3 Hive Tyrants. And
I didn't know that.
2 of them on their own didn't do a whole lot. Swarmy, of course, does his thing, but
Swarmy is Swarmy.
So I just think the Hive Tyrant, if you can only bring 1 in your army, he needs to compete with the Grandmaster Dread Knights and things of those caliber.
Or at least be around that realm. Yeah.
It makes sense that they should be able to compete with those types of commanders.
Yeah.
Because that's what they compare to.
Yeah, we won't drone on about it too long, but I think, like we said before, Tyranids are hard to balance, and Hive Tyrant really falls into that category.
Yep. So now we're just going to do a few more things. These are some war gear or other things I want to talk about. Again, let's discuss in the comments exactly everything we want to see, but some things we'll go over first. Bone Swords. According to Genestealer Cult Codex, Bone Swords will be going to +1 strength, AP -2, and damage 2.
I think that's pretty much for sure.
As long as we get that same profile, awesome.
Warriors could be good in close combat.
Yes, finally. Toxin Sacs, I would love to bring back old poison rules.
It exists right now in the game, right?
Some armies have it. Dark Eldar have it.
Yeah.
Some other random characters do, but old poison was you always wounded infantry and monsters on 4+.
Oh, I wonder how powerful that could be with the Leviathan rules on a 30-man block of Hormigons. That'd be scary.
But it would make Hormigons do something again. Besides just objective grabbers.
They might do too much.
We'll have to see. upgrade the gun profiles in general, like Venom Cannons, Stranglethorn Cannons,
Yeah.
Barb Strangler, all of those kind of blast heavy weapons, the Tyrannofex Rupture Cannon.
I think there's a really good chance those get a little buff.
Those things just need extra love, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping they do, and don't leave them in the dust like they have the Tyrannofex gun for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some other things we'll just pack out here. All of our warlord traits outside of Leviathan are useless, so I'd
Yeah.
love to see those revamped. Same thing with the relics. 75% of our relics are useless.
I mean, what, you have the barb, the resonance barb?
Resonance Barb is great, but that was a supplement one, so that wasn't even
was
from
it?
the core codex.
That makes sense why that's in every game then.
Yeah, and then psychic powers, I'd love 2 trees of psychic powers. I know it probably won't happen, but I would love to see some extra powers.
Well, you do already have Crusher Stampede and
Crusher Stampede and the other ones, but you can't mix and
main.
match those.
Yeah.
Some better Hive Fleet bonuses would be awesome, because right now things like Gorgon and Hydra
Half of them are garbage.
they're just garbage. All of them but Kronos and Kraken and Leviathan are very meh. But yeah, so,
Yeah.
And one final thing to mention here, we'll talk on quickly. The core system, the core keyword,
It's tough.
I don't know how it's going to fit in with Tyranids.
I don't understand.
I want us to not have it.
I think they maybe won't. Because
Yeah.
there's too much, again,
It's
what
just,
we said before.
It's a different codex.
It's way too complicated for that.
What
I
do you
think.
guys think will happen with the core keyword? I would love Tyranids to be a major shakeup and not have the core keyword. So I don't know. Maybe it'll do it, but it's like what's core and what isn't in the Tyranid Codex?
Maybe that's why it's taken so long to get them out, because they're like, what do we do with this?
Major shakeups.
How do we do this? Yeah.
All right, so then we'll just wrap it up. There's not really much to conclude here. It's just we're very happy Tyranids are coming.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to them on the channel. We will cover them extensively in depth here.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm most excited about is just a break from only Leviathan and only Crusher. I want new ways to play Tyranids.
True.
So, yeah, we'll go through it there, and then we'll wrap it up and come back to you guys in another video here on the Tyranids.